So finally, here we are in Visual Studio 2010 with the CUDA toolkit and NSight installed. And before we even open a project, we can already open up the CUDA info window, which can tell us a little bit more about the system we're running on. So let's go to NSight Windows System Info, and notice these pop-ups here in the bottom right-hand corner. That's basically a connection that's been made to the NSight service. So the Visual Studio plugin connected to the NSight service, got some data, and then disconnected. So here you can see some boring information about my CPU, and we don't really care about any of this stuff. But if we go to GPU devices, then this list is strangely empty. And I have a confession to make. I'm actually recording this video on a computer that has an ATI device. And here is some proof. So remember I said that NSight is essentially a client-server platform and can be used to connect to other NVIDIA GPUs remotely. So let's do exactly that. Now, to connect to a different machine, I'm going to close the System Info tab for now, and then I'm going to bring up the NVIDIA Connections toolbar. Where is it? NVIDIA Connections. And this essentially lets me configure the location that I'm connecting to. And at the moment it's set to localhost, but I can choose a different machine. Let's choose this one. And then we can repeat the process. Let's go into System Info again. And what happens now is a connection is made to an entirely different machine on the network. So we connected to a machine named Black Mesa, and we got some other sets of information. And now suddenly the GPU devices listing has some information about the device that I'm actually connected to, because on that machine there is an NVIDIA CUDA capable device. Actually, if we go into display devices, you'll see that I have two graphics adapters on that machine. I have a built-in Intel graphics card that's actually used to drive the monitors, plus I have an inactive NVIDIA NVS card. And the fact that a device is not being used is great, because debugging on a device that actually drives the display output is actually impossible. So if we go back into GPU devices, we can find out more about what kind of graphics adapter this is. We can see, for example, that the compute capability of this device is 1.2. We can see that it's got 2 streaming multiprocessors and so on. But most of the detailed information is actually stored under the CUDA devices tab. So the parameters listed here are effectively constraints on what we can do with the device, and it's possible to use the CUDA API to actually query these parameters at runtime as well. As I mentioned in the previous module, many of the parameters here are predicated by the compute capability of the device that we're looking at. And finally, yes, there is an OpenCL tab here as well.